Hello friends, welcome back into the Golden Tee Lounge. Kevin Lindsay here. Happy Thursday to you. We are, 10 days away from Christmas. No idea how that happened, but more importantly for today, $1,500 in the prize pool for today's Throwback Thursday Daily Contest on 2007's Indigo Mound. Now, unfortunately, hole 1, not drivable, but a decent opportunity to hole it out. Oh, come on. The line was right there. GoldenTee.com/locations to find a 2022 PGA Tour or Golden Tee Live game near you, whether it's at your favorite watering hole down the street, a Buffalo Wild Wings, or another restaurant down the road. Get out there, play as many times as you want between now and 8:59 Central Time tomorrow morning, before it changes over to our Paul Anthony Luna World Championship Freaky Friday tomorrow. More on that soon. Now, hole 2 here, not the setup we were hoping for. I wanted a tee box in the front patch up there because you could potentially drive this one. Not a good opportunity here. But the nice thing is that you could at least get it pretty close up there. Give this a little release out of the sand, see what we can do. Boom. Oh, of course the release went too far, but that's all right. Indigo is one of those early Golden Tee Live courses where you can get some tough setups, but you can also get some pretty sweet semi-drivable, put a couple of games worth of effort into it and see what happens. All right, we get to hole 4, the first par 5 of the game. Little high tee here with some roll. You want to avoid the trees, of course. So what did I do instead? I just hit it right through them, apparently. Not the strategy I would have gone with. This one was tough because it's a bit farther back than you typically see on this course, or at least since I've played it. So don't do what I do there. Let's just leave it at that. See if my 3 hybrid can save the day here, get us an eagle. Get it close at least. Now, this is one of the holes I was talking about. So, nice 8-wood, 3 hybrid action here, potentially drivable par 4. Now, there are certain times where you get the tee boxes right up here and you're faced right up against the bushes, so that makes it a bit harder to get it there in one. But thankfully, we also have golden tees that we can just high tee. Don't do what I did, which is high tee it and hit it a little too hard. Still in the green at least, but I've done that plenty of times where, even with like a 3 hybrid, I'm like, oh, there's no way this is going past the green. And guess what? See you later, sayonara. It is out of there and in the water. So just be careful of that as we move on to hole 6. This is another par 5. Now, you don't want to power hit this because you're going to have a shot where you're going to want some club. So I actually didn't get this back as far as I wanted because I would like to just go right over this with an 8-wood. And of course, because I was too close, couldn't do that. So that is where you got to be careful there. This is one of those, like, I hate, it's this hole in like the Coconut Beach drivable par 4 that involves a similar setup. I hate that when I hit that, but it is just such a fun shot. 3 hybrid chip nowhere near it. You know, when you watch these videos, you're either going to get a really good game that's full of great tips or a not so great game that's full of tips on what not to do. Nice little setup there for hole 7, the par 3. Hole 8, this is another hole that, frankly, with high tees and the ability to hit them for what seems like forever now, was not the case when this course first came out. Makes this hole so much easier. I'm very, very thankful, excuse me, that I have a high tee in that situation and just blow it all the way over those trees without any issues or cause concern. You get to hole 9. This one, a little bit trickier. You want to hit a big A1. You want to get it past the sand there. And now you've got plenty of green to work with. We're going to go ahead and just put a little bit of release on there. My lines are not straight today. They're a bit off. That's all. All right, 11 after 9 is not the best score. It's not the worst. Hole 10, very clearly not drivable. But I do believe that I don't think anybody's ever aced this hole. But I do know that somebody has gotten it on the green, I believe. It's either that or the par 5 that's coming up. I think that one is a bit more drivable. Don't normally like hitting the 6-wood from the fairway like that, but it actually worked out pretty well. Alright, this one's a pretty straightforward par 4. I like today's setup with that 9-mile-an-hour wind blowing right back at you. Up 5 is going to bring that ball back down the green more, and then that right slope going to give it a little bit push towards the cup there. Alright, hole 12. This one, a little bit trickier than it probably seems at first because there's an elevation change. Now, for somebody like me who uses super spin clubs, presents a challenge depending on where the pin's at, and that is why I went with a 6-iron high tee, because I did not want any spin, so I wanted to eliminate as much as possible for that opportunity there. Alright, now hole 13, this is unfortunately a bad setup in my eyes. Not drivable in any way, although I'm sure somebody out there may be able to prove me wrong, but with how sloped that rough is and leads you right into the water, it's not worth it, especially with that wind in your face, to try to go for it. All right, hole 14. Another par 5. This one, of course, not drivable. You just want to get it into this clear open area. Make sure, if this is your first time playing, that you pay attention. Hit that flyby button a couple times, or the overhead view, because you have an elevation change. So you definitely have to take that into account when hitting your second shot. It's not a bad one. Oh, come on. I needed that little boost of confidence with a little hop in there, but that's all right. It's not a big deal, but if you're not used to that elevation change on that hole, it can potentially really throw it off. All right, hole 15. This is a fun one. Multiple greens that could be used. Don't really see the front green used very often. So we're going to just go for it. Worst comes to worst, it bounces off the wall and goes in the water. Didn't actually want to hit it that hard. But I did say, worst comes to worst. Would not surprise me if we saw a hole-in-one off of that wall there today. It's a pretty nice setup. All right, hole 16. This one is the one I believe that has been driven before, but I don't think anybody's ever aced it. You could lay up in this little spot right here, which is actually what we're going to do. Now, the one thing you have to take in note, which I very clearly did not, and I should have started talking before I started playing, is probably going to need a high tee if you do that. Now, at least it'll put you even with the green, because as you can tell, when you're down here, you're dealing with a much bigger elevation change now. And when you're like me and you're on stroke 3 going towards the green, you got to be really careful, because again, that green is surrounded by water, and the last thing you want to do is fall down that hill and end up in it. And then hole 17, this is one of my favorite holes, to be very honest with you. I don't know why. It's just like, and closest to the pin, it's just like my go-to. Probably don't want roll in there. But this is another one that these last couple of holes have some real big elevation changes that you got to make sure that you account for. That is why I hit the longer club with backspin, because I knew I had plenty of green at that point to work with. Hole 18. This one, you know, we're going to try something different that I don't always do. And we're going to just try to come in from the right. Now, unfortunately for me, wind's blowing to the right. I got a right 10. Is it going to stop? Okay. All right, it did stop. And that 5 hybrid did manage to get right in the center of the cup. So there you have it. Today's $1,500 prize pool, Indigo Mound Throwback Thursday Daily Contest. Play as many times as you want into 8:59 a.m. tomorrow Central Time as, we get into the Paul Luna World Champ Freaky Friday. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us.